Hi, everyone. It's Leslie Beal, back to share with you some of those tips that we promised about closing the gap between your strategic plan and the implementation of that plan. In the last video, I shared with you some important statistics about why this matters so much and really about understanding the size of that gap. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, scroll back up and do it. I think those statistics will be enlightening to you. But our first tip, really, for closing the gap between creating an effective strategic plan and really implementing it so that you see the results of it, has to do with communication. And it is really just about prioritizing the communication of the strategic plan so that everyone throughout the organization not only understands what the broad, big picture goals are, but also is crystal clear on how their department, their individual team, and they themselves fit into that. So that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about communication. And I think what makes this hard for leaders is not that they don't want to communicate, not that they don't understand why it's so important, but one of the things that makes it tough is that by the time we get around to communicating, most of us as leaders have been thinking about planning, talking to our colleagues about the strategic plan, often for weeks or even months. And so by the time we get to the point where we're ready to communicate that plan to our teams, it can feel, frankly, just like old news to us. So it's important for us as leaders to take a breath, to pause, to remember, even though we're saying something that we've heard several times, this is something that's brand new for our teams. And it's really important for us to slow down, to allow space for questions, and really to communicate not just one time and expect to be finished with this, right? To communicate so that everybody has clarity, so that everyone has a chance to let it all sink in, because that's really we at the top of the organization are not the only ones implementing the strategic plan. It's our teams, our departments, our individuals throughout the organization. So they have to understand it, they have to be in alignment with it, and then they have to be willing to move forward and take action. And that all starts with communicating a crystal clear vision. So communication is that first really key strategy for successfully implementing your strategic goals for this year. I hope you'll join us for the next video and we will talk about strategy number 2.